Okay. We're gonna get right off into it. Let me switch screens. We're gonna get right off into this thing tonight. Hey, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hey, how you hear me out there, my brother?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, so we're gonna get right off into it. Hey, what y'all doing out there? What y'all doing out there? What y'all doing out there? Hey, you already know who it is. B Woods, Mr. Power Move 06. Hey, today, we're gonna be getting off into the first No L season of 2022. Hey, and today's topic we're gonna be talking about is life insurance. Whose insurance? The insurance for the people, with no other than our guest, Mr. Mecco Mosley. Hey, without further ado, hey, Mr. Mecco Mosley, hey, let the world know who you are and what you're bringing to the table today, sir.
Hey guys. My name is Mecco Mosley here, born and raised in King Street, South Carolina. Um, you know, I'm a college graduate with business degree. I'm just here to put back and pour back into my community to make sure that we can build our community up and make sure that we're thriving. And especially during this month, this is Black History. We're coming toward the end of Black History. So, I'm just excited to be here, and I definitely appreciate the invite, Mr. Woods.
Awesome, man. I love the whole energy that you're bringing to the table today, Mr. Mosley. So, I know a lot of people when it comes to these hard topics, Mr. Mosley, that they really don't want to talk about the stuff that people need to do to really adult in a way when the hard time comes. The most hardest thing for a lot of people to do out here nowadays is when we have a loss of a family member. A lot of people don't like to embrace it because the hurt of, you're not going to be able to get that hug, you're not going to be able to get that call, or you're not going to be able to have that, that actual event, and that person is going to be there in the physical form. But we have something that we know for a fact that can help lessen the stress, even though that loved one is no longer with us, that is necessary to pay proper respect. And that topic what we have today is life insurance. So without further ado, hey, Mr. Mosley, there's a couple of questions I would like to ask you, because I know that this is your area of expertise and you have a lot of compassion for it. So I'm gonna ask you this question. So what was the defining decision that made you join this industry as a whole, just in general, in your own words, sir?
All right, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I had to experience using life insurance. Now,
Wow.
what does that mean? My wife passed away a couple of years ago, and when she passed away, at the time I was only about 35, 36 years old. So a lot of people were looking at me wondering how a single man, 36 years old, how is he going to take care of two girls by himself? And the guy that delivered the life proceeds, he came and he delivered, and I was able to take care of the funeral with no problem. There's two things that's going to happen at a burial. You got the first, you're mourning the love of your loved one. That's the first thing. That's the first pain that you feel. The second burden is, how are you going to pay for it? But see, one of those burdens in my situation was already eliminated. That was already taken care of.
Wow.
So all I had left was to mourn for my loved one. When I saw what the life proceeds did for me, it altered my life. I was able to do some things and navigate, the world of money. I was able to set some money aside. I was able to pay off some bills in the house. I was able to set up a retirement account. I was able to set up a college plan. And I said, you know what? When God gives you a testimony, you got to tell it.
Wow. Hey, man, hey, what a remarkable, story, because your story is more unique than some other people, because some people of your age, even at the the mature age of 36, they don't got their priorities straight. they don't got their priorities straight to know that one day you're going to have to deal with it. And you know, with all due respect and you know, and condolences, that it was good that you were mature enough to be able to have stuff in place for that when that happened. Because a lot of people right now, they playing the chess move between the GoFundMe accounts and not wanting to actually get insurance. And that's why it's necessary for this topic to, you know, be had, and being able to talk to someone that actually has compassion for this. And with that being said, in your own words, what are some of the pros and cons, other than what you just described, on in the in life insurance, that you know you could tell some of the people out here that are going to view this or are viewing this right now on this YouTube channel, right now? What's some of the pros and cons you could tell them about the insurance vehicle, as far as going forward in their life, with their family?
All right, great question. Great question. I'm gonna start off with the con. The biggest con when it comes to life insurance is that you got to pay a premium.
Yeah.
Whether that be monthly, whether that be quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, you have to pay, you know, a monthly, you know, for your insurance. But it's no different than car insurance. You pay either every month, every 6 months, or every year. It's the same thing. But the advantage is that you get to now put finance. You have money to come in to take care of those loved ones that's not explained this information. Most people don't know this information. Money is coming in to take care of those loved ones you leave. Because what I explain normally to families and individuals is that life is going to go on for the people that you leave. And during that time frame, you know, if you have young kids like my kids, for example, I want them to still be able to go to college. Should they go and get in debt, or should that life insurance take care of that? Most families have mortgages. Most families want their family to keep that house. We explained that life insurance should be able to pay for that house. So that's why we explain to different families, different amounts of different insurance is needed at different times in their lives. Sometimes they need a lot of insurance, and sometimes they don't need so much. And what we do is we break down a financial needs analysis, see what that family needs individually on an individual basis, so we can stack where their debts are, what are their plans moving forward, in order so we can secure their future. You know, life insurance, I explained, normally just in general, we got to secure the bag. You know, so in order to secure the bag that we're working on jobs and making money and doing so, you know, doing those things, we need to have something to back that up and to make sure that that plan, you know, is executed.
Awesome. So, you know, so for lack of a better term, you would say that people need to take life insurance a little bit more serious than just thinking that, you know, everything else matters more than making sure that you're being able to prepare for the homegoing service, or the life and legacy of someone when they pass in the bodily form. For lack of a better term, that's what you're saying, sir.
Absolutely. That life insurance is going to replace their income, because
Wow.
Most kids, we're the ATM to our kids. They look for us and they're always asking for money. Let's keep it real. But if something happens to me, I need a check to come to them and to continue to take care of them.
So I want to say this to you, that knowing the insight that you have right now with the insurance vehicle and whatnot like that, and what you have experienced and what you know, what is the best advice that you could give to anyone that's out here viewing right now, with insurance? What is the best advice you can give someone that's still skeptical, still, you know, in that adolescent stage and thinking that, you know, hey, oh, I'll be able to, you know, work it out, and what is the best advice you can give to them at this point in their life, if they're still skeptical about the insurance?
The first thing is that we have to have a reality check. We have to have a reality check. And why I say that is because we all know our birth date, but do we know the other date, that date of death?
Wow.
That's the first thing, you know. And once you realize that, you got to move with a sense of urgency. You know, we take pride in so many things that's not important, that's irrelevant.
Wow.
See, the strongest muscle we have is our brain. So we have to fuel that brain. We have to control the brain, and we have to move in a sense that, hey, if something happens to me today, how will my family move forward? How will my mom, how will my father, how will my sister, how will my brother? That's that first reality check. Second, get coverage as soon as possible. The younger you are, the better. The older you get, we all are going to receive some complications. Diabetes, all different type things happen. When that happens, you're no longer insurable. And if the company will insure you, it's going to cost a buttload of money, and you're going to get a little bit of money in the end. Your proceeds are not going to be that much.
Wow.
See, at the beginning of your life, this is the time where you're building wealth. So you need the most coverage. Get it early. You see what I'm saying? Second and third of all, it brings financial stability to you and your family, your household, your sister. It brings stability. See, in our community, we're not leaving those big checks. We're leaving a little check or no check. And like you said earlier, these GoFundMe, it's time out for that. See, the best advice I can give you is I'd rather have a conversation with you to get you insured versus you calling me and saying, hey, can I borrow to put somebody in the ground? That's a hurtful feeling.
Wow. Man, that's man, you said a powerful statement, a mouthful. You know, I would say the word pride when we talk about this, pride itself. The word pride can go two ways. Pride could be a respectful and good, joyous thing, or pride could determine a shameful thing of having to ask a family member or to do a GoFundMe account, all because we didn't take what life throws at us serious. And Mr. Mosley, I'm telling you right now that this conversation that we're having tonight, that I love the fact that I connected with a good, passionate person that's in the industry. Because I know some people, the only thing they're in it for is the dollars. But with you, when I had my one-on-one with you, I saw that you were very compassionate, that you were serious about the work that you do, and you want to make a difference in the community as far as making them aware. And a lot of people didn't even realize the actual price on some of this insurance, that life insurance that they can get, is for the cost of less than a pair of Air Jordans. And nothing against Air Jordan, but I use that as a example of something that people love to, you know, be fashionably accepted, be socially accepted. But when it comes to adulting about some of the hard topics and the reality of life, they, in that department, they need to mature and grow up, you know?
Exactly.
And that's the only reason why I use that metaphor. Hey, no, nothing against people that, you know, love to look nice, but looking nice and adulting responsibly, so you don't have to feel that whole heartache and that pain when a love of a lost one happens, is definitely necessary for anybody to capitalize on, so that they can, even though they're going to go through some pain through bereavement time, they can still, you know, go on and carry out whatever that family mission and that plan is. And that's to have a life of prosperity and a life of goodness and a life to create generational wealth after one of the family members have passed, and also having a smooth transition without having that financial burden still on them to have to wonder how they're going to have to be able to prepare to bury that loved one. So,
exactly.
So Mr. Mosley, you know, you stated a lot of key things in the last couple of questions that I asked you, but a lot of people, when they see these conversations and they're like, hey, what drives these young men to want to bring this topic to the table? Because it's necessary. That's why we're bringing it to the table. Let's not be like that quiet mouse in the room. Hey, when it comes to these hard topics, it's necessary for us to do it. Because guess what? Every single day and hour that we're looking at, no one knows when is the time and hour. They're leaving here, left and right, and more so now than ever. So with that being said, hey, this is the number one million dollar or probably $1 billion question that the world wants to know. Mr. Mosley, how can they get with you? How can they get a one-on-one to understand more about where they stand as far as them, dealing with how much it would cost them to get a insurance that's necessary in their life so they can secure if some unfortunate event happens at this time? How could they get with you and give them like an inside scoop of roughly some of the things that you might go over with them? You don't got to give them it all, because guess what? You give it to them so they'll understand that it's not as hard as they think, but at the same time, it's necessary for them to understand what's going on. So in your own words, what are some of the things that that would take place if they get with you, and how could they get with you about getting themselves together for insurance wise?
Great question. You can reach out to me via Facebook Messenger. It's my name, Mecco, Mecco, Mosley, Mosley. That's my Facebook. That's my Instagram. You can reach out to me via email, Chico, CHICO _ Mosley, Mosley at yahoo.com. And you can even reach out to me via phone call or text at 843-356-0676. And listen, it's not a lot of information is needed. All I need is just to keep it cut and dry, birth date, whether you smoke, a smoker or non-smoker, and we can get you some rates. And then from there, we can have that one-on-one conversation via Zoom, or if you like to do face-to-face, we definitely can do a face-to-face. I'm with all of that. I'm very professional. So definitely reach out to me. Listen, I'd rather have a 10, 15-minute conversation with you, and you spend maybe $20, $30, $40 a month, and you bring in $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. That can change your family legacy.
Man, so you mean to tell me is that simple? That simple for for someone to be able to get on with insurance?
Yes, most people think that is difficult. No, it's not difficult. The process takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes at tops.
Wow. Hey, man, I'll tell you what, man. I'm glad that you're on here letting the world know that it's not that hard to get insurance, because some of them get it so complicated, make things complicated and overthink it. So to a lot of them, for them to even come to the table to ask about getting insurance, is too much for them to bear. So I'm glad that you put the perspective out there. So it almost seems as easy as, hey, if you're filling out an application, or it's matter of fact, it's easier than an application if you're going for screening for a job, really.
Exactly.
Because I mean, let's think about it. If you're going for a job, man, hey, they want some of the same information. Then they ask you about background check and all stuff like that. But this stuff right here in a setting with you is very private, it's very personal, or whatnot like that. So they don't have to worry about everybody and anybody in their business. And the best thing is that they're able to protect their whole family. So that's the thing that blew my mind when I had my one-on-one with you several days ago. And man, I just had to, man. I had to highlight how easy the process was, and I had to highlight that we actually have, awesome, leaders in the community like you that are definitely on the front lines when it comes to protecting our number one asset. That's yourself and your loved ones. Because I'll tell you right now, I used to think, Mecco, that in order for me to become wealthy, that I would have to start with a lot of money. I used to always think that certain things you have to have a lot of money to get into it. But in reality, the knowledge on how to get into it, you'll find out that you have a lot of the resources right now in order for you to secure your legacy and to create generational wealth, you know?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, is there anything else that you would love to like the world to know before, we go our different directions, but we still on the front lines, influencing and, here mentoring people and exposing them to a better way of living as far as with their finances and with their family. Is there anything you want to say to the world before we come off?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to even speak and to do this with you, this interview. To the world, get insurance, protect your life, sit down with a professional. A lot of information wasn't given to us back in the day. Information was withheld from us. And as the world started, improving, and they came out with the World Wide Web, the internet, we now have access to information. You now have the ability to change some things. So in order to change, you have to first be willing to change, be willing to learn more. We got to learn more. We got to change with the times. When we were growing up, we had, cassette tapes. Then it moved to CDs. Our children don't even know what a CD is.
Hey, that's fact, man. That is so much fact.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to change. Now, what that means is that we can't, and this is no shade to the older generation. We can't take all the advice from the older generation unless they improve with the times.
Wow.
So if they improve, exactly, if they improve with the times, then you can take advice from them. But if they have the old mentality, we have to change that old mentality.
So in other words, you could basically be saying that if you don't change with the times and what's going on, you'll probably surely perish in using the old way of doing things instead of using a more innovative way in order for us to secure our family and our legacies for longevity. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Because now think about it. Our ancestors came from slavery. Let's be real. Okay. They could not read.
Gotcha.
We now, generations later, we have read, we are now educated. So now we got to read and educate ourselves in order to make that change. That stuff that we used to do back in the day, we have to change that today in order for tomorrow to be even better.
Wow. Hey, man, hey, you know what? Man, you hit the nail on the head, man, that the resources are out here. It's not like not like no one can't obtain it, because there's so many avenues to obtain it. But I think even though these resources are out here, a lot of people are just stuck in that mentality, stuck in that mentality of not securing everything that they have for them. And the thing is, I look at the body and a person as a business from your head to your toe. If you're not, if your health and your mental well-being and the way that you're doing things is not working and it's actually putting stress on you, how are you going to be able to evolve if you're not living a more healthy lifestyle? And that's 360 from you even waking up to your sleeping habits, to your eating habits, even to the activities that are going to determine how your end state could end up when you push away from the workforce. Because don't get me wrong, some people probably might, live to the maturity of their actual life insurance, because it happens. People living longer nowadays.
Exactly.
But let's not let them be the reason if you do pass, you don't have stuff in place in order for to be able a smooth transition for the homecoming. And that's what this main thing is about. It's about awareness, and it's about people waking up and knowing that you got to take control, because no one is going to take control of your financial situation or how you run your family business. I'm gonna say it just like that, family business, because a lot of people don't look at it this way, but economically, family is the first level of organization, the first level of a business without even saying it, because your last name and the way you deal when way family members deal with each other as a whole means a lot if you protect your brand. I'm gonna just say it like that. If you protect your brand, because don't get me wrong, just because and no shade, just because Tiger has the name Woods, and I just happen to be a Woods, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna carry myself like how Tiger is. Hey, shout out to him. He's an awesome golf player, but hey, he's moving different from how I'm moving. But one thing is for sure is up to you to be able to secure all these things that we're talking about tonight with this conversation. And I don't want to go too left field because, hey, this is all about you making sure that you put out this information. And man, I'm telling you right now, I'm just so thankful and excited. And actually, if I didn't tell you, hey, man, you're the first person that I actually interviewed as far as on No L season 2022. And it's just something I came up with, and I thought it was necessary to bring to the forefront. I was like, yo, let me ask him because this guy is awesome, and I would love for him to let the world know this. So, man, hey, so everybody that's tuning in right now, if they want to go back and look at what we talked about earlier on in the conversation, they can go back and hit it up at Power Move 06 YouTube channel. Also, they can go back and look at this last part. I did go live streaming a little bit with it, and they can also go back and look at some of the stuff we talked about, but more so less. Now that we had this conversation, they can't unsee what you just displayed physically. They can't unhear what you just put off in the universe for them to be able to do bigger and better things with their family. So with that being said, Mr. Mosley, is there anything else you want to drop on them before we cut this thing loose? Because I know that you're a busy man and you're on the time schedule, and we want to make sure that we don't overdo it. We might hit that 30-minute mark, but I told you whatever you want to tell them, you can tell them. So go right ahead, bro.
All right. Well, again, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. And guys, secure the bag.
Wow. Hey, there you have it. Hey, Mr. Mecco Mosley. Hey, I call him Mr. Lifesaver. That's what I call him, Mr. Lifesaver, because I'm telling you right now, he is helping a lot of people save themselves from the heartache of not having, life insurance, when that unfortunate, which we know is two things in his life that he said that's going to happen. You're going to be born, and you're going to have to go home one day, and it's necessary to secure that. So with that being said, what I always say, hey, we're going to take 2 L's, make the W, and get the win, and let's build, baby. And always remember, the bottom is way too crowded. I'm going to see you on the beaches of the world at the top. B Woods, Mecco Mosley, hey, we out. Hey, have an awesome day.
All right, you do the same.
One moment, I'm going to come off live, my brother.